Isaiah's commission. In the year that King Uzziah died, I saw the Lord high and exalted, seated on a throne, and the train of his robe filled the temple. Above him was seraphim, each with 6 wings. With 2 wings they covered their faces, with 2 they covered their feet, and with 2 they were flying, and they were calling to one another, Holy, holy, holy is the Lord Almighty. The whole earth is full of His glory. At the sound of their voices, the doorpost and the threshold shook, and the temple was filled with smoke. Woe to me, I cried, I am ruined, for I am a man of unclean lips, and I live among a people of unclean lips, and my eyes have seen the King, the Lord Almighty. Then one of the seraphim flew to me with a live coal in his hand, which he had taken with the tongs from the altar. With he touched my mouth and said, See, this has touched your lips, your guilt is taken away, and your sin atoned for. Then I heard the voice of the Lord saying, Whom shall I send, and who will go for us? And I said, Here am I, send me. He said, Go and tell these people. Then I heard the voice of the Lord saying, Whom shall I send, and who will go forth? And I said, Here am I, send me. He said, Go and tell these people, Be ever hearing, but never understand, be ever seeing, but never perceiving. Make the heart of these people closed, make their ears dull, and close their eyes, otherwise they might see with their eyes, hear with their ears, understand with their hearts, and turn and be healed. Then I said, For how long? I Lord? And he said, Until the cities lie ruined and without inhabitant, until the houses are left deserted, and the fields ruined and ravaged, until the Lord has sent everyone far away, and the land is utterly forsaken. And though a tenth remains in the land, it will again be laid waste. But as the terebinth and oak leave stumps when they are cut down, so the holy seed will be the stump in the land. The Lord will use a laser hired from beyond the Euphrates River, the king of Assyria, to shave your head and private parts, and to cut off your beard also. In that day, a person will keep alive along a young cow and two goats, and because of the abundance of person will keep alive a young cow and two goats, and because of the abundance of the milk they give, there will be cause to eat. All who remain in the land will eat cause and honey in that day. In every place where there were 1,000 vines worth 1,000 silver shekels, there will be only briars and thorns. Hunters will go there with bow and arrow, for the land will be covered with briars and thorns. As for all the hills once cultivated by the hoe, you will no longer go there for fear of the briars and thrones. There will become place where cattle are turned loose and where sheep run. Isaiah and his children as signs. Chapter 8. The Lord said to me, take a large scroll and write on it with an ordinary pen. Maharshala Hasifaz. So I called in Uriah the priest and Zechariah son of Yeberechiah as a reliable witness for me. Then I made love to the prophetess, and she conceived and gave birth to a son. And the Lord said to me, name him Masar Hazbaz. For before the boy knows how to say my father or my mother, the wealth of Damascus and the plunder of Samaria will be carried off by the king of Assyria. The Lord spoke to me again, because this people has rejected the gentle flowing waters of Siloam and rejoices over Rezin and the son of Remaliah. Therefore the Lord is about to bring against them the mighty flow waters of the Euphrates, the king of Assyria with all his palm. It will overflow all his channels, run over all its banks, and sweep on into Judah, swirling over it, passing through it and reaching up to the neck. Its outspread wings will cover the breadth of your land, Emmanuel. Raise the war cry, your nations, and be shattered. Listen, all your distant lands, prepare for battle and be shattered. Prepare for battle and be shattered. Devise your strategy, but it will be thwarted. Purpose your friend, but it will not stand. For God is with us. This is what the Lord says to me with his strong hand upon me, warning me not to follow the way of these people. Do not call conspiracy everything these people call a conspiracy. Do not fear what they fear, and do not dread it. The Lord Almighty is the one you are to regard as holy. He is the one you are to fear. He is the one you are to dread. He will be a holy place for both Israel and Judah. He will be a stone that causes people to stumble, and a rock that makes them fall. And for the people of Jerusalem, he will be a trap and a snare. Many of them will stumble, they will fall and be broken, they will be snared and captured. Bind up this testimony of warning and the shield of God's instruction among my disciplines. I'll wait for the Lord, who is hiding his face from the descendants of Jacob. I'll put my trust in him. Hear and might and the children the Lord has given me. We are signs and symbols in Israel from the Lord Almighty, who dwells on Mount Zion. The darkness turns to light. When someone tells you to consult mediums and spirits who whisper and mutter, should not all people inquire of their God? Why consult the dead on behalf of the living? Consult God's instruction and the testimony of warning. If anyone does not speak according to this word, they have no right of it own. Distressed and hungry, they will roam through the land. When they are famished, they will become energized, and looking upward, he will curse their king and their God. Then they will look toward the earth and see only distress and darkness and fearful gloom, and they will be thrust into utter darkness. Chapter 9. Nevertheless, there will be no more gloom for those who are in distress. In the past, he humbled the land of Zebulun and the land of Naphtali, but in the future he will honor Galilee of the nation by the way of the sea beyond the Jordan. The people walking in darkness have seen a great light. On those living in the land of deep darkness, a light has dawned. You have enlightened the nations and increased their joy. They rejoice before you as people rejoice at the harvest, as warriors rejoice when dividing the plunder, for as in the day of Midian's defeat. You have shattered the yoke that burdens them, the bar across their shoulders. The load of their oppressor, every warrior's boot used in battle, and every garment rolled in blood will be destined for burning, will be put for the fire. For to us a child is born, to us a son is given, and the government will be on his shoulders, and he will be called wonderful counselor, mighty God, everlasting pastor, Prince of Peace. Of the greatness of his government and peace there will be no end. He will reign on David's throne and over his kingdom, establishing and upholding it with justice and righteousness from that time on and forever. The zeal of the Lord Almighty will accomplish this. The Lord's anger against Israel. The Lord has sent a message against Jacob. It will fall on Israel. All the people will know it. Abraham and the inhabitants of Samaria who say with pride and arrogance of heart, the bricks have fallen down, but we will rebuild with dressed stones. The fig trees have been peeled, but we will replace them with cedars. But the Lord has strengthened the resin's poles against them, and has poured their enemies on. Arameans from the east and the Philistines from the west have devoured Israel with open mouths. Yet for all this, his anger is not turned away, his hand is still unraised. But the people have not returned to him who struck them, nor have they sought the Lord Almighty. So the Lord will cut off from Israel both head and tail, both palm branches and limbs in a single day. The elders and dignitaries are the head. The prophets who teach lies are the tail. Those who guide these people mislead them, and those who are guided are led astray. Therefore the Lord will take no pleasure in the young men, nor will he pity the fatherless and the widows. For everyone is ungodly and wicked, every mouth speaks poorly. Yet for all this his anger is not turned away, his hand is still unraised. Surely wickedness burns like a fire, it consumes briars and thorn. It says the forest thickets ablaze, so that it will rolls about in a column of smoke. By the wrath of the Lord Almighty, the land will be scorched, and the people will be pure for the fire. They will not spare one another. On the night they will devour, but still be hungry. On the left they will eat, but not be satisfied. Each will feed on the flesh of their own oppressing. Each will feed on the flesh of their own offspring. Manasseh will feed on Ephraim, and Ephraim on Manasseh. Together they will turn against Judah. Uh, Yet for all this, his anger is not turned away. His hand is still unraised. 이렇게. 잠시. Chapter 10. To those who make unjust laws, to those who issue oppressive decrees, to deprive the poor of their own right, and withhold justice from the oppressed of my people, making widows their pay. What you can you do on the day of reckoning, when disaster comes from upper? To whom will you run for help? Where will you have live your riches? Nothing will remain but to cringe among the captive, or pour among the slain. Yet for all this, his anger is not turned away. His hand is still unraised. God's judgment on Assyria and yet for all this, his anger is not turned away, his hand is still unraised. God's judgment on Assyria. Woe to the Assyria, the Lord of my anger, in whose hand is the club of my rest. I send him against the godless nations. I dispatched him against the people who anger me, to seize loot and snatch plunder, and to trample them down like mud in the street. But this is not what he had, and this is not what he has in mind. His purpose is to destroy. But this is not what he intended. This is not what he has in mind. His purpose is to destroy, to put an end to many nations. Are not my commanders or kings, he says. Has not kind of fared like a chemist. Are not my commander or kings, he says, has not kind of fared like a alchemist. Isn't Hamas like Arafat, and Samaria like Damascus? As my hand sees the kingdom of the idols, kingdoms who images excelled those who Jerusalem and Samaria. Shall I not deal with Jerusalem and her image, as I deal with Samaria and her idols? When the Lord has finished all his works against Mount Zion and Jerusalem, he will say, I will punish the king of Assyria for the willful pride of his heart and the haughty look in his eyes. For he says, by the strength of my hand I have done this, and by my wisdom, because I have understood, I removed the boundaries of nations. I removed the boundaries of nations. I plundered their dress like a mighty one. I subdued their kings as one reaches into a nest. So my hand reached for the west of the nations. As people gathered abandoned eggs, so I gathered all the countries. No, not one flapped a wing or so I gathered all the countries. Not one flapped a wing or opened each mouth to him. Does the X raise itself above the person who swing it, or the saw boasted against the one who uses it? As if a lord were to wield the person who lifts it up, or club and brandishes the one who is not wood. Therefore the Lord Almighty, will send a wasting disease upon his sturdy warriors. Under his palm will Therefore the Lord Almighty, will send a wasting disease upon his sturdy warriors. Under his palm of fire will be kindled like a blazing flame. The light of Israel will become a fire, their holy one of flame, in a sight thing. 잘한다 보다. The light of Israel will become a fire there, holy one of flame, and a single day it will burn and consume his thrones and his ripe. The splendor of his forest and the fertile fields it will completely destroy. As when a sick person wasted away and the remains of his forests will be so few that a child could more light them down. The remnant of Israel. In that day, the remnant of Israel, the survivors of Yaakov, will no longer rely on his who struck them down, but will truly rely on the Lord, the Holy One of Israel. A remnant will return, a remnant of Yaakov will return to the Almighty God. Though your people will be like the sand by the sea, Israel own a remnant will return. The destruction has been decreed, overwhelming and righteous. The Lord Almighty, will carry out the destruction decreed upon the whole land. Therefore, this is what the Lord Almighty says: My people who live in Zion, do not be afraid of the Assyrians who beat you with a rod. I will lift up a cloud against you as Egypt did. Very soon my anger against you will end, and my wrath will be directed to their destruction. The Lord Almighty will rescue them with a heap, as when he struck down Midian at the rock of Oreb. And he will raise his staff over the waters, and he did in Egypt. In that day their burden will be lifted from your shoulders, their yoke from your neck. The yoke will be broken because you have grown so fat. They enter Ayas, they passed through Migron, they store supplies, and Michmas, they go over the pass and say, we'll camp overnight at Geba. Lama trembles, Gibeah of Saul, please cry out, O Caleb. Less than last year, for Anatos, Madame is implied. The people of Gibeon take over. This day they will hurt and knock. They will shake their first at the mount of Dot Zion, at the hill of Jerusalem. She, the Lord Almighty, will lap off the brows with great power. The lofty trees will be pared. The tall horn will be brought out. He will cut down the forest thickest with an ox. Lebanon will pour into before the mighty one. Chapter 11. The branch from Yesse. A shoot will come up from the stump of Yesse. From his root a branch will bear fruit. The Spirit of the Lord will rest on him, the Spirit of wisdom and of understanding, the Spirit of counsel and of might, the Spirit of the knowledge and fear of the Lord. And he will write in the fear of the Lord. He will not judge by what he sees, or what his eyes, or decide by what he hears with his ears. But with righteousness he will judge the need, with justice he will give a decision for the poor of the earth. He will strike the earth with the rod of his mouth, with the breath of his lips he will slay the wicked. Righteousness will be his belt, and the faithfulness the sash around his waist. The wolf will live in with the lamb, the leopard will lie down with the goat, the calf and the lion and the yearling quiet, and the little child with them. The cow will feed with the pure. Their young will lie down together, and the lion will eat straw like the ox. The infant will play near the cobra's den, and the young child will put each hand into the viper's nest. They will neither harm nor destroy. On all my holy mountain, for the earth will be filled with the knowledge of the Lord, as the waters cover the sea. In that day, the root of Israel will stand as a banner for the peoples. The nations will rally to him, and his resting place will be glorious. In that day, the Lord will reach out his hand a second time to reclaim the surviving remnant of his people from Assyria, from Lower Egypt, from Upper Egypt, from Kusi, from Elam, from Babylonia, from Hamas, and from the island of the Mediterranean. He will raise a banner for the nations and gather the exiles of Israel. He will assemble the scattered people of Judah. From the four quarters of the earth, Abraham's jealous will vanish, and Judah's enemies will be destroyed. Abraham will not be jealous of Judah, nor Judah hostiles toward Abraham. They will swoop down on the slopes of Palestine to the west. Together they will plunder the people to the east. They will subdue Edom and Moab, and the Ammonites will be subjected to them. The Lord will dry up the gulf of the Egyptian sea with a scorching with the wind. He will sweep his hand over the Euphrates river. He will break it up into 7 streams, so that anyone can cross over in sandals. There will be a highway for the remnant of his people that is left from Assyria, as there was for Israel when they came up from Egypt. Songs of Praise, chapter 12. In that day you will say, I will praise you, Lord, although you were angry with me. Your anger has turned away, and you have comforted me. Surely God is my salvation. I will trust and not be afraid. The Lord himself is my strength and my defense. He has become my salvation. With joy you will draw water from the wells of salvation. In that day you will say, give praise to the Lord, proclaim his name, make known among the nations what he has done, and proclaim that his name is exalted. Sign to the Lord, for he has done glorious things. Let this be known to all the world. Shout aloud and sing for joy, people of Zion, for great is the Holy One of Israel among you. Amen.